Welcome you to today's training. So today we're going to talk about Domain 3 of the Core 1 A+ exam. Be sure to right now, I want you to drop your city and your state in the comments and let me know where you're checking in from. If you have no idea at all what A+ is, ain't never heard of this, please go watch parts 1 and 2 of this series, and it's going to clear up any questions or anything like that you may have. Now, you just need 3 things for this training. Number 1, you need something to take notes with. Number 2, a functional brain. And number 3, the ability to sit down and shut the hell up. So if you got those 3 things, we can go ahead and continue. If not, then go ahead and log off and go take a nap. So you're probably wondering, who the hell is this guy? So I'm Rob. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I am a Army veteran. I was in the military for quite some time, went to Afghanistan, fought for your freedom and all that type of stuff. I also am a twin girl dad. My pride and joy, got twin girl toddlers. I've been in tech for over 20 years. I got 12 certifications, including A+, of course. I got a master's in this stuff. I've taught more than 15,000 students, and I am the best instructor this side of the Mississippi. So this is just proof, just so you know, okay, this is why I should listen to this guy. I'm not just some random homeless dude with Wi-Fi, right? All right, so let me give you a quick story and let me wake you up, right? Right now, NVIDIA is one of the most valuable companies on the planet. You're probably asking why? Because they make chips. Like, they are the plug. They are the spot. They are the boss of all bosses when it comes to chips. Chips, hardware, and just raw computing power in general. Literally billion-dollar data centers are being built right now around one thing: performance, improving performance, making things faster, making things more efficient. So clock speed, core count, cache, memory, and power is super important right now with the advent of so much data, AI, and all that kind of stuff. And this is the crazy part, right? The same principles that drive, AI and all these supercomputers are the same principles inside the laptop and the phone that you're using right now. CPUs, RAM, motherboard, all that stuff is the foundation of modern computing. This is why it makes companies trillions of dollars. So just a quick overview. The CPU is the brain of the computer. Everything has to go through the CPU. Without a CPU, nothing's going to happen. So it's handling calculations, logical operations, and just controlling all of the other components. Now, the motherboard is pretty much the connection or the communication between the CPU and everything else. So the memory, the peripherals, the expansions, all that type of stuff. It connects all those things together. Now, RAM is where data is stored temporarily, right? So instead of having to go through your entire hard drive, let's store the stuff that we need quick access to on our RAM. That's why the more RAM you have, a lot of times, the faster a computer is going to be, or the faster a laptop is going to be, the faster whatever you got is going to be, right? So let's talk about a couple different things, right? So the form factor of a motherboard, different types of chipsets, and expansion slots. So a form factor, real simple, is the physical size and just the layout of a motherboard. So depending on the size or the form factor of a motherboard is going to determine, the compatibility of what kind of case and what kind of device you can actually put that motherboard inside. So as of right now, an ATX motherboard is one of the most common motherboards that's going to be used for like mid to full size PC cases. Now, when it comes to a full size motherboard, it's going to have pretty much the maximum amount of expansion slots, and all expansion slot does is that it adds extra functionality to your computer. If you want a faster graphic processing unit, if you want a better sound, if you want to expand, upgrade, the capabilities of your current device, that's where you would upgrade the expansion slots and put new stuff in your expansion slots. Now, micro ATX is another form factor, and it's just a smaller motherboard than the ATX, and it just has fewer expansion slots, but it still supports, most of the components that you're going to be looking for. So it can be in a small, like office desktop, inside of a compact case. Now, a mini ITX form factor is super small, and it's designed for super small compact systems with limited expansion capabilities. Now, a chipset. Chipsets pretty much manage communication between everything: the CPU, the RAM, the storage, and the peripherals, right? So when it comes to chipsets, you have to make sure that you have the right chipset for the motherboard you're using. That's another thing. Different form factors, you'll have a different type of chipset, and depending on what type of processor you have to make sure that all of this stuff is compatible and all that stuff works together. Now, when it comes to different chipsets, different slots, different form factors, the chipset is going to define, what features are actually available to you. So can you overclock the CPU? And CPUs go off of clocking speed, right? We're going to go into this a little bit deeper in a minute, but a clocking speed just means how fast it can go. And overclocking means that whatever the recommendation for the CPU is, you go over that. You go faster than that, right? All right, so you just got to think about that. And also the chipset is going to define how many USB ports you have, how many expansion slots you have, so on and so forth. So overclocking is a cheap but sometimes dangerous way to make your CPU faster and do things that you want it to do, right? So, and then like I said, just to bring it home, expansion slots are the slots that you can use to physically expand your motherboard. So physical connectors on the motherboard use additional components to enhance functionality, whether it's graphics, network cards, that type of stuff. So one of the biggest and fastest types of hard drives is an SSD, right? An M2 SSD. So an M2 SSD or M2 slot is a slot that plugs directly into the motherboard. There is no latency, there is no delays. It's super fast. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's super fast, and a lot of modern computers come with M2 slots already. All right, so let's kind of talk about this a little bit more. So we already know that the CPU is the brain of the entire shebang bang, right? So clock speed we already talked about is how fast the CPU can execute different things, right? How fast it can do different things. Now the cores are basically separate CPUs, right? It's pretty much another CPU inside of CPU. So if you have 4 cores, technically you have 4 CPUs inside of one, and each one of those cores can handle different operations. So instead of just one core being bogged down with, you want to watch YouTube videos, you're trying to do homework, you want to listen to music, you want to edit a video, you want to ask ChatGPT something, you want to code some stuff in Gemini, you want to do this, you want to do that. All that stuff is happening on different cores. You can have 4 cores, you can have 8 cores, you can have 16 cores. The more cores you have, the more processing power you have, and the faster your CPU will be. Now, the cache size just refers to the amount of high-speed memory built directly into the CPU. So it pretty much just stores the stuff that you frequently use and the stuff that you need just for quick access, so it doesn't slow down any of the other processes. So just to kind of overview this, for the actual exam, you don't need to memorize every CPU model, whether it's Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, whatever, right? But you do need to understand how CPUs differ and why compatibility matters, like we were talking about earlier. Most real world CPU issues come from overheating or just mismatched components. So the clock speed, right? We said the clock speed makes things faster. So, okay, why the hell when you want to overclock it? If you overclock things, things get hot really quick. And if you don't have the proper amount of cooling, shit will start blowing up, right? So that's why we're going to talk about why it's super important to have proper cooling and making sure that all your components are intact. So just in general, you have to make sure that you have, effective cooling for proper performance. Most devices have a fail-safe to where if things get too hot, if stuff gets too crazy, that it automatically will kind of slow down, stop, or turn off, right? Just to make sure nothing breaks and blows up. Now, if your fan is either too small for the whatever form factor you're using, or if it's not blowing in the right direction, if it's not set up correctly, if it has dust all over it, because remember, dust is an insulator. And if you have dust all on your CPU, dust all on your motherboard, dust everywhere, that's going to insulate and trap the heat inside of that case. And it could damage your device because it'll overheat because it has that insulation from that dust, right? So you can have air or you can have a liquid. Now, liquid, a lot of times, not now, isn't more expensive. And it actually is a lot better at taking a heat away. So the liquid in the tubes, it absorbs the heat and take it away from the actual CPU, right? So if you really care about your stuff, liquid may be important. Now, at the same time, with the with the liquid cooling, if that shit leaks, if you're trying to do some DIY stuff and it goes left, liquid and electricity does not go together well. So just think about that. Now, there's also a thermal paste that goes directly on the CPU, and that just ensures that you got optimal contact for heat transfer. And usually there is a fan directly on the on top of the CPU to take that heat away from the CPU, blow it onto the case, and then hopefully you got the proper fans to blow all that heat out of the device. One of the biggest things or issues with the liquid stuff, like I said, it may leak. And then with the fans, some people, get super excited and they had the fans blowing in the wrong damn direction. So instead of blowing stuff out, it's actually blowing all of the heat inside. And that's a recipe for disaster. Now it is story time. I'm trying to tell you this story in 60 seconds or less, right? So, when I was in Afghanistan fighting for your freedom, another unit had called us and said, "Hey, man, ain't nothing working. None of our shit is working. We gotta send these emails. We gotta send these updates. We gotta send these sit reps. Blah blah." So me and some infantry guys got out of the Humvee. I literally had to go to a whole nother farm, had to go to a whole nother base, get shot at, blown up, all kind of shit, just to make it to just to make it to the base to find out that the only problem was they didn't have proper cooling and none of this stuff was clean, right? So all the laptops they had, all of the PCs they had dust, dirt, grime, all type of shit. So what was happening was they would turn it on, and then like I said, the fail safe would open up and it would overheat and the shit would shut down. They thought they got hacked. They thought somebody had cut the internet, but it was just that their shit was dirty. All right, so now we're gonna talk about RAM. All right, so RAM, move myself out of the way a little bit. So RAM is, we already talked about it earlier, is going to be for quick access, right? The more RAM you have, technically, the faster your device should be. So right now, we are on a DDR5. DDR just stands for double data rate. So the type of RAM technology that transfers data twice as fast or data twice per clock cycle. So basically, if you have DDR2, twice as fast. DDR3, 3 times as fast. DDR4, 4 times as fast. DDR5, 5 times as fast, technically, right? So if you have DDR4, DDR5, most likely if you have a newer laptop, it's going to be running one of those. If you have a PC, you're going to have DIMM. If you have a laptop, it's going to be SODIMM. All right. So DIMM, big stuff, SODIMM for the smaller stuff. So DIMM just stands for dual inline memory module. So it's just for full size stuff, primarily in desktops and servers. SODIMM, small outline dual inline memory module. So it's a smaller version of DIMM. It's usually for compact stuff, where there's laptops, so on and so forth. You cannot put SODIMM into a PC. You cannot put DIMM into a laptop. So just remember, RAM is short-term memory. So if a person says, man, my computer is slow, a lot of times it's either they got a bunch of shit open, a bunch of stuff going on, and they don't have enough RAM, right? So just remember, for the exam, DDR versions are not interchangeable, okay? They are not interchangeable. Remember that. So I've taught you more in 10 or 15 minutes than your daddy taught you in your whole life. So I'm going to see what you remember. This is our infamous one question quiz. Let's get straight into it. Let me bring my damn mouse from this to this and move myself out the way. Boop. Here we go. A small marketing company is upgrading its graphic design workstation used for video editing and rendering large 4K projects. The current system has a quad-core processor running at 2.4 gigahertz, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, and a dedicated GPU. The video editor reports that rendering times are significantly longer than expected, even though system memory usage rarely exceeds 70% and the GPU is functioning normally. The IT technician recommends upgrading to a newer processor with 8 cores running at 3.6 gigahertz. However, the company's budget only allows for one major upgrade at this time. The technician must determine which CPU characteristic will most directly improve rendering speed for a single-threaded rendering task used by the company's editing software. Which CPU specification will have the most immediate impact on improving performance for the current workload? A, increasing the number of CPU cores. B, increasing the CPU clock speed. C, increasing the amount of system RAM. D, upgrading to a larger L3 cache. Damn, that was a long question. So just remember, these are the types of questions you'll get on the exam. So be ready. Give you guys a couple of seconds to think about it. In the interim, while you're doing that, make sure that you have liked this video and share it with 2 people who can benefit from knowing what the hell this stuff is. All right, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully you guys picked increasing the CPU clock speed, because remember, they said they were broke, they did not have the money, but they needed things to be faster. The only thing that you would have to tell them or recommend to them is like, hey man, I can upgrade the clock speed or make the clock speed faster, overclocking it. But 1, that's going to void the warranty, and 2, we got to upgrade the cooling system, right? So it's kind of defeating the purpose, maybe. But if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. You just have to give them all of the options and all the information. So if this was beneficial to you right now, all I need you to do is comment your biggest takeaway from this video. If you have no idea what you want to do, or if you have somewhat of an idea and want guidance and a roadmap on exactly what certifications you need and what career field would be best for you, go to passtechcerts.com and get a free tech career roadmap. Lastly, if you haven't done so, watch part 1 and part 2 of this training. If you watch part 1, part 2, and part 3, stay tuned for part 4. Other than that, this is Rob from passtechcerts.com, and I will see you in class.